China has achieved a significant milestone in the development of flying taxis. Regulators in China have approved 2 companies to operate autonomous passenger drones commercially.
While most African cities are still battling potholes and traffic jams, Rwanda just skipped the queue straight into the skies.
In just over 2 decades, Rwanda has transformed from a country rebuilding after the 1994 genocide into one of Africa's most forward-looking innovation hubs. The country's latest milestone, the launch of Africa's first self-flying air taxi, took place during the 9th edition of the Aviation Africa Summit and exhibition in Kigali. The summit and Kagame's message. The Aviation Africa Summit 2025 carried the theme, "Collaborating to Unlock Africa's Growth." How can Africa deliver a sustainable aviation industry? The central message was clear. Africa's aviation industry must overcome high costs, improve connectivity, and embrace technology to achieve sustainable growth. This summit, held over 2 days, brought together 1,700 aviation professionals and more than 100 companies, showcasing technologies that could define the future of African skies. Opening the summit, Rwandan President Paul Kagame pointed directly to the challenge that still holds back Africa's aviation sector: expensive air travel. He said that the high cost of flying across the continent remains a serious barrier to tourism, trade, and connectivity. Kagame urged both governments and industry leaders to work together, emphasizing that Africa's skies must be opened up in ways that better serve citizens, businesses, and the wider economy. His remarks echoed the continent-wide frustration at limited intra-African air travel, where flying from one African city to another often costs more than traveling to Europe or Asia. Kagame's leadership has consistently focused on innovation as a tool for solving development challenges. This summit, however, was not just about identifying problems, it was about showcasing solutions. And no solution drew more attention than the Chinese-made flying taxi that took to the skies above Kigali, the EH216S, Africa's first flying taxi. The centerpiece of the summit was EHang's EH216S, described as the world's first fully certified pilotless passenger air taxi. When the aircraft performed its maiden flight in Kigali, it instantly became a symbol of possibility. This electric vertical takeoff and landing craft is capable of carrying 2 passengers with a maximum payload of 220 kilograms. It runs on electric power, using 16 propellers to lift and land vertically, eliminating the need for long runways. The EH216S can cruise at speeds of up to 130 kilometers per hour at an altitude below 1,000 meters, with a maximum straight-line range of 30 kilometers. While its distance may seem modest, the potential is enormous for urban commutes, airport shuttles, or even medical transport in areas where road networks are poor. What makes the EH216S stand out globally is its regulatory status. It is the first eVTOL aircraft to secure a type certificate, production license, and standard airworthiness certificate, which means it is recognized as safe and fit to operate within regulated airspaces. For Africa, a continent where regulatory frameworks for advanced aviation technologies are still evolving, this represents a leap ahead. Rwanda's own first-hand experience. Melissa Rusanganwa, head of international cooperation at the Rwanda Civil Aviation Authority, was one of the first in Rwanda to experience the aircraft. After her flight, she described her excitement in simple terms. "I'm feeling great. It's really exciting to see this here in Rwanda, so we hope to have this technology, such technology, in Africa." Her words captured the moment's historic weight. Having senior Rwandan aviation officials not just witness, but also test the flying taxi reflects Rwanda's seriousness in exploring how self-flying aircraft could fit into the country's aviation and mobility ecosystem. Africa's untapped skies. Africa holds roughly 17% of the world's population, but accounts for less than 5% of global air transport volume. This gap reveals both the immense challenges and opportunities for the continent's aviation industry. Infrastructure gaps, high costs, and fragmented regulations have limited growth, yet the demand for air connectivity is rising rapidly as cities expand and economies integrate. Low-altitude economies, defined by the use of drones, eVTOLs, and related technologies for passenger and cargo transport, offer Africa a chance to bypass traditional aviation hurdles. Instead of relying solely on costly long-haul networks, countries can integrate smaller, more flexible air solutions. Rwanda has already shown leadership in this area, with its use of drones through companies like Zipline, which delivers blood and medical supplies to rural areas. The launch of the EH216S in Kigali expands this narrative by showing that Rwanda is ready to experiment with passenger drones as well. Rwanda and China. The flying taxi launch also highlighted the deepening cooperation between Rwanda and China. Over the past decade, China has become one of Rwanda's most important partners across sectors, from infrastructure to healthcare and now defense and aviation. In July 2024, Rwanda and China elevated their relationship to a comprehensive strategic partnership during the Beijing Summit of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation. Since then, their cooperation has expanded into new areas. On defense, China and Rwanda have increased training programs, with over 300 Rwandan military personnel graduating from Chinese institutions in the past 10 years. In 2024 alone, 25 Rwandan Defense Force members received scholarships to study in China in specialized areas like engineering, air defense, and military science. A new memorandum of understanding on defense cooperation is set to be signed to further solidify these ties. Beyond defense, China has also invested heavily in Rwanda's healthcare system. A $42 million grant funded the expansion of Masaka District Hospital in Kigali, turning it into a leading teaching hospital. Chinese doctors and specialists continue to work at the hospital, supporting Rwanda's healthcare workforce. Now, aviation is emerging as another area of cooperation. The EH216S's debut in Kigali was not just a product showcase, but a statement about how Chinese innovation can align with Rwanda's ambition to become Africa's innovation hub. Kigali Innovation City and Rwanda's tech drive. The flying taxi fits neatly into Rwanda's broader technological transformation agenda. Kigali Innovation City, part of the Smart Rwanda Master Plan, is the country's flagship project for positioning itself as Africa's innovation hub. The city integrates university campuses, research and development facilities, and business services designed to accelerate the digital economy. Startups like SafeMotos and Zipline are already operating from this environment, tackling real-world problems with technology. SafeMotos uses a ride-hailing platform to make motorcycle taxis safer and more reliable, while Zipline's drones deliver essential medical supplies to remote areas. These ventures show how Rwanda leverages technology to solve immediate social challenges while simultaneously building a reputation for innovation. The ICT sector now contributes significantly to Rwanda's economy, making up 17% of its total exports. It is also a major job creator, with projections suggesting its contribution to GDP will triple over the next decade. This diversification away from traditional commodities like coffee and tea strengthens Rwanda's economic resilience and supports its long-term development goals. Digital transformation beyond Kigali. While Kigali Innovation City often grabs the headlines, Rwanda's digital push is not limited to its capital. The government has intentionally rolled out initiatives across rural districts, ensuring that young people like Deogratius in Karundi village can access the same opportunities as entrepreneurs in urban centers. This decentralization of digital infrastructure is crucial in a country where over 70% of the population still lives outside cities. Projects like the Rwanda Digital Acceleration Project are extending high-speed broadband to schools, health facilities, and government offices in remote regions. By 2024, over 18,000 smart devices had been distributed to more than 100 schools across 8 districts, giving rural students digital access for the very first time. For many of these students, online lessons, research tools, and digital libraries have replaced outdated textbooks, bridging an educational gap that once seemed impossible to close. This digital backbone also creates a foundation for e-government services to function at the village level. Local residents can now access birth registration, property documentation, and even agricultural subsidies through digital ID systems, saving both time and travel costs. The emphasis on single login portals is particularly impactful for rural populations, who previously faced long waits at government offices to complete basic paperwork. Financing the digital economy. To sustain its digital transformation, Rwanda is also rethinking financial systems. The National FinTech Strategy, launched in 2024, seeks to attract $200 million in investment and create 7,500 jobs by 2029. But beyond these headline numbers, fintech solutions are reshaping everyday transactions. Mobile money adoption in Rwanda has surged, with services like MTN Mobile Money and Airtel Money being integrated into e-commerce platforms, transport services, and even public utilities. Small vendors and markets now accept digital payments, reducing the reliance on cash and creating transaction histories that can help them access credit. The government is also promoting digital savings groups, where young people pool funds using mobile platforms. These groups replicate the traditional community lending model, but with added transparency, since contributions and payouts are tracked digitally. The road to 2050. All these initiatives tie back to Rwanda's Vision 2050, which aims to transform the country into a high-income economy by mid-century. Digital transformation is not treated as an isolated sector, but as the engine that powers progress in agriculture, healthcare, education, and governance. By embedding technology across these sectors, Rwanda is betting that it can leapfrog stages of development that took other nations decades to achieve. For young entrepreneurs, this means opportunities will no longer be limited by geography or resources. A small shop in Gicumbi can access regional markets, compete with urban businesses, and grow into a sustainable enterprise. For Rwanda as a nation, it means building resilience through innovation using technology, not only to accelerate growth, but also to safeguard its past, as seen in efforts by Liquid Intelligent Technologies to preserve genocide memorials through digital archives. Technology and poverty reduction. One of the most striking aspects of Rwanda's innovation push is its direct link to poverty reduction. By creating jobs in ICT and related sectors, Rwanda provides new opportunities for young people. In agriculture, the use of drones and mobile platforms has improved yields and reduced post-harvest losses, boosting rural incomes. Healthcare has also benefited, with Zipline's drone deliveries reducing the time needed to get blood and medicines to remote clinics, often cutting delivery times from hours to minutes. These improvements not only save lives, but also reduce the economic burden of disease on poor households. The flying taxi may appear futuristic, but its role fits into this broader pattern, using technology not just for prestige, but for practical solutions. China's role in Africa's aviation. China's role in African aviation is not limited to the EH216S. The country has become a significant player in the continent's infrastructure development, financing airports, roads, and railways that support mobility and trade. In aviation technology, companies like Vertaxi have developed other eVTOL prototypes, such as the Matrix One, designed for cargo and passenger advanced aerial mobility. This aircraft was showcased in Beijing in May 2025, further demonstrating China's leadership in the field. For Africa, the presence of such technologies creates options for collaboration. By working with Chinese firms, African countries can access not only new aircraft, but also training, financing, and regulatory expertise. Rwanda, with its established reputation for early adoption, is a natural testing ground. Regional tensions and international reactions. The timing of Rwanda's aviation partnership with China comes as regional tensions remain high. In late January 2025, the Democratic Republic of Congo accused Rwanda of supporting the M23 armed group, which seized control of Goma's airport. The United Nations warned of rising ethnically motivated violence in the region, while China itself called on Rwanda to heed international appeals and stop supporting the rebels. This unusual public rebuke from Beijing showed that while Rwanda and China are close partners, their relationship is not without challenges. Still, the two countries continue to deepen ties in areas like aviation and healthcare, suggesting that both see value in keeping cooperation strong despite disagreements. A model for Africa. Rwanda's embrace of self-flying air taxis may sound ambitious, but it reflects the country's proven strategy of using innovation to leapfrog development stages. Just as Rwanda was among the first in the world to adopt drone delivery at scale, it may now be among the first to integrate passenger eVTOLs into its transport system. The Kigali demonstration has already sparked conversations across the continent. If Rwanda can prove the model works, other African countries may follow. The combination of growing demand for mobility, limited road infrastructure, and expanding cities creates an environment where low-altitude aviation could thrive. China's role in this journey cannot be understated. From financing hospitals to training military personnel and now introducing self-flying aircraft, Beijing has positioned itself as a partner willing to invest in Rwanda's transformation. Whether this partnership will extend into broader African aviation networks remains to be seen, but Kigali has already shown it is ready to lead the way. The skies ahead. The flight of the EH216S over Kigali was more than a spectacle. It was a glimpse of Africa's aviation future. For Rwanda, it was a continuation of its strategy to position itself as an innovation hub. For China, it was a demonstration of its technological capabilities and its role in Africa's development story. What is certain is that the skies above Kigali are no longer just the domain of traditional aircraft. With the launch of Africa's first self-flying air taxi, Rwanda and China have opened a new chapter 1 that blends technology, diplomacy, and ambition in ways that could redefine not just Rwanda's future, but Africa's role in global aviation. So, what do you think? Would you step into a self-flying taxi above an African city? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.